it as Interstate 91, but some investigators know it as the Iron Pipeline.
The I-91 corridor along eastern Vermont is a conduit for drugs that come from Springfield, Mount Holyoke, places like that in Massachusetts that are significant source cities for drugs, and they also end up being destination cities for guns where people exchange them.
In March, Massachusetts State Police arrested a Vermont woman on Interstate 91 North. They say she was transporting about 1,400 packets of heroin, allegedly to sell in Vermont. About 2 weeks later, police stormed an apartment in Pittsfield, Mass. And arrested a fugitive from Vermont. They reported finding 3 loaded guns, cocaine, PCP, and thousands of dollars in cash. In February, a drug raid in Hartford, Vermont turned up 400 bundles of heroin, crack, and marijuana. 3 of the people charged were from Massachusetts, and police cite more incidents that follow a similar pattern. Vermont lawmakers from the I-91 corridor are concerned.
Vermont, being a rural state with a very low crime rate and a strong individualist bent, has traditionally not had a great deal of gun control. And people have been reasonably happy with that. But the idea of us becoming the arsenal of the drug world is disturbing.
Federal agents say the root of the problem is simple economics. The demand for heroin has increased in Vermont, but the supply is still relatively low, making heroin much more expensive up here than in southern New England and New York, where the illicit drug supply is rampant and prices are lower. When Vermont addicts can't come up with the money they need to get what they want up here, they steal, and they provide something the dealers to the south have a harder time getting: guns. McCormack says, consider the fact that gun shows and private transactions are exempt from background checks, and Vermont addicts have an opportunity.
We take great pride in our quality of life here, and we want to protect it. And the introduction of the drug and gun world, and I'm not talking about good old Vermonters with their rifles out deer hunting, threatens the quality of life in Vermont.
The combination of available guns and drug demand, according to authorities, has turned I-91 into that iron pipeline.
We do have people who are identified gang members traveling to Vermont to sell drugs and sometimes trade them and get guns.
Here in White River Junction, Interstate 89 intersects with Interstate 91, helping connect Vermont with the bigger cities to the south.
With the 2 interstates that intersect, a lot of the drugs are coming from the Springfield, Massachusetts, other towns in Massachusetts, as well as Hartford and Bridgeport, Connecticut, and they come on up and filter into Vermont.
Deputy Chief Vail adds that White River Junction, with the highways and many motels, has become a hub that both individual and bigger drug trafficking organizations exploit.
Within the past 5 years, it's really gotten worse, and hopefully with all the legislative acts and the opiate addiction treatments, that maybe we can assist in combating it.
Lawmakers and police say the solution comes in stages, like more treatment centers and addiction rehab programs. They also advocate requiring background checks for all gun sales, including those at gun shows and any place else, to help keep guns out of the wrong hands. But Coffin and others say don't lose sight of the root of the problem, and therefore the focus of the solution: drug dealers.
If we can reduce the drug trafficking, we'll also reduce the gun trafficking.
And federal agents say when drug dealers go into homes or stores to steal, they're seeing them focus more on guns now. While agents can't quantify the exact volume of guns being traded for drugs, agents do say they are certainly seeing it more now. Live in the newsroom, David Schneider, WPTZ News Channel 5.